farming perspective, the issues we face are poor soils, inadequate groundwater, soil, water basically, and then economics. These three are not kind of working out, and fourth is the health issues, particularly among farmers. So when it comes to soil, the problem with Indian soils is the fertility is very low, and in the last 20, 30 or 40 years, it's become worse. So the typical measure of soil fertility in a way is soil carbon content. Indian soils have 0.2 to 0.5%. If you take soils, let's say in US or Europe, we are talking about 6 to 7% carbon content. So that's the huge difference, and this is becoming worse and worse every day. And then obviously you have issues of soil erosion because of this. Then a lot of fertilizers being used leading to salinity, alkalinity. So very fertile lands are becoming, going out of production. You take Punjab, you take our own state, delta areas, Godawari's, or in Tamil Nadu, Tanjavur. So because of excessive use of fertilizer, the soil is becoming poisonous, toxic. So they're not able to cultivate anymore. Because of which the production capability of soil is decreasing day by day. So which brings to light how secure are we in terms of our food supply. Then water is a huge issue. We have this bore wells technology. In a way, initially it was a boon because it kind of empowered everyone to drill a bore well with a few thousand rupees and then have water for irrigate. But it's also become a curse because you'd find bore wells every 100 meters, and then whatever water is there, it's kind of exploited and there's no recharge happening at that rate. And in fact, we work in Rajasthan and I see it's a complete desert area, and I see farmers pumping water from 600, 700 feet in a desert area. This must be aquifers which have got created millions of years back, and then I see that perhaps in 10 years time there won't be any water there. So it really like hurts when you go and see these things. And the water holding capacity of our soils itself is decreasing. And if you look at any of the movies, particularly the 60s movies, all the movies would be about water fighting or access to land, access to water. And I think it's going to come back. Another big issue is farm profitability. In fact, India and not only India but all developing countries, whether it is South Asia or whether it is Africa, the biggest issue is your farming doesn't generate enough income. Every year you earn less than what you actually spend. So that's why I think farmers incur huge debt leading to suicides. There have been almost 1 million suicides in the last couple of decades in this country. And finally, it's also about reducing financial risk, because in fact, like when we started our business, people used to come and tell you, you work with so many farmers, why don't you sell this biofertilizers? You can make huge money. Actually, it's very tempting because that can be a better model than doing all this if you have to just earn money. But then we said no, because we would be dishonest to what we are trying to do. So our whole objective is, or even the concept of organic is, how do we ensure that farmers are trained to generate their own inputs as much as possible. So that's what we do, so they don't have to borrow funds for fertilizer, pesticides or any of those things. And finally, improving farm families' health, because they're not exposed to any pesticide. In fact, there's only one study done by Center for Science and Environment where it analyzed samples of blood from farmers in Punjab, and they found that the pesticide residues are 70 to 400 times or something compared to the maximum allowable residue limits. No wonder there's huge incidence of cancer among farming families. So ultimately, our own experience shows that by farmers getting into organic farming, they can earn about 15 to 30% more income. So it's not going to be a jackpot, but it's definitely much better than what they're doing. The production is much more stable. The incomes are much more stable. The financial risk comes down because you don't borrow money for fertilizer or pesticide. Most of it you're generating on your own. And the soils are much more better, more fertile. So they are assured of their production that, and in fact, 2008 was one of the worst drought years in the country, and we found that organic farms perform much better than conventional fields. Primarily because you're applying so much manure to the soil, it becomes spongy, and then it absorbs and retains water for much longer time. So in a normal field, if you apply water every 5 days, in an organic farm you apply perhaps once in 7 days. So your water use efficiency goes by almost 30-40%. And organic farming can sequester a lot of soil carbon Like with our own small project which we are doing, we work, if we do about 100,000, 1 lakh acres, we will be able to sequester about 3 million tons of carbon. And can you imagine if more farmers do this? So organic farming doesn't have any support from the government today, either in R&D, and in fact, if you are a conventional farmer buying fertilizer or pesticide, each per acre you would get subsidy of almost 2,000-3,000 rupees. Organic farmer doesn't get anything, but in spite of that, there's 1 million acres under certified farming. So it means obviously farmers see potential, and if that support is given, there are many more farmers who will convert to this.